Stop right there. Yeah, you. If you like all things entertainment, current events, or Hollywood, then look no further. Creator to Creators, hosted by director Meosha Bean of Horror Noir, interviews filmmakers and creatives from around the world. Join in on the fun, guest celebrities, and informative information to have as a creator. Hit subscribe and stay connected to Creator to Creators.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators today. Today, we have a special guest.
Hello, my name is Jimmy Yitty from Toronto, Canada.
All right, Toronto, Canada in the house.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. I love interviewing guests and I love to just go back to the beginning, like, your childhood and what that was like, and then kind of finding your way into, music.
So my upbringing, grew up in the East End of Toronto, right? Was raised by my mother up until like 8, kind of separated. At that point, went to go live with my father, who I would have loved for him to be around a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
So, at a very young age, just kind of, fending for myself, and, my friends were my family. When I was really young, right? So, and it is my friends actually who encouraged me to make music. I definitely wrote and rapped about things, pain and wanting to have that kind of family background and stuff like that. So, the friends that I called family when I was younger, they definitely inspired me to, be really serious about this music, rapping at high schools and doing little freestyle battles and things of that nature. My dad was around. He supported a little bit with the music,
Mm-hmm.
in high school. I wasn't the greatest kid. I wasn't the worst kid either.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely ran into some trouble, which also just, further inspired me to make music, being in a low income household, um, you know, with parents not really around so much, that definitely a lot can be drawn from that, you know what I mean? In
Right.
regards to inspiration. So, yeah, I feel like that upbringing, when I was rapping, like I really wanted to change that for
Mm.
myself, inspire others to do the same.
Yeah. Was it like growing up, were you like in a musical household, or you just kind of found your way into it and you were like, you know what, this is it. This is what I want to do.
You know what? And I didn't know this until after I got into music, but my uncle Gus used to DJ, and my dad also used to DJ. My
Nice.
dad was born in Trinidad, right? He came to Canada when he was 14. I grew up in the Regent Park area. Same thing with my Regent Park is downtown area in Toronto. I forgot that. You, you're not familiar with the area too much. But for those that might have heard of that name, Regent Park, from other Toronto artists, you know what I mean? Yeah, that's where my dad grew up. So, yeah, I was really inspired by artists like, Nas, Mobb Deep, and Wu-Tang. What I will say is exactly like what I said, like my friends were my family, so I hung out with them a lot. My
Mm.
older brother, Matthew, was really, really, really into hip hop. Like he
Nice.
had every CD you can think of, so I definitely was inspired by my brother, who put me onto artists like Nas, Mobb Deep, Raekwon, Big L, the Erica Badu's even. Like I listened to a whole bunch of
Hey.
different music. Yeah, you know what I mean? I listened to a whole bunch of different types of music. So yeah, my brother definitely inspired me. You know, close friends like my friend Milk Crate and other friends, Methodist. Those three, I would say, brought me into the hip hop realm.
I love that. I
Absolutely.
love that. And you have a great sound. I listened to Bleach and I was like, I have never heard of this man. I love it. I went on and I literally went all on your music. I listened to so many shoppers. I listened to a lot of your stuff and I was like, man,
You did
you have a
good there.
different flow. It's good. It's good, and it's like, wow. Wow.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I think that comes from just listening to so much different genres of music, different eras
Yeah.
of music. I think my favorite era of music across all genres is probably like the late 80s,
Nice.
I think the rock in the 80s was amazing, the hip hop was amazing, the pop was amazing.
Oh yeah.
Across all genres, I think late 80s was the greatest. So,
Oh yeah.
but then obviously I grew up in like, the late 90s and the early 2000s. So who could ever forget about those, right?
That's right. I'm a 90s baby too, so
Yeah, I'm 93. How about you?
90. Literally.
Okay, right there.
Right there. Definitely. I love, so, tell us about the process. I know every artist has their process of making music and what inspires them, but like you just, I mean, it's like genius to come up with these lyrics and then topics to talk about. What is the process when you're working on, making music? And
I was on the phone with a friend last night speaking about, he's an engineer, he's also a producer, but my phone is going crazy right now.
I bet you're popular. I mean, I get it. I get it.
I'm actually even too, I'm in the studio 10 days, 10 hours a day.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, 30 hours a week. So, but to answer your question, how do I come up? I mean, like, what's really funny is that a lot of the music, like, even like shoppers, like, I like to do a lot of freestyling, hearing a beat,
Nice.
kind of just like vibing with it, and like it's something that I've been known for is like I could almost like make a song about like anything that I could look like in the room and notice my friend's shoe is untied and just you know what I mean, like say something funny about his shoe being untied and like kind of just flowing with it and vibing with it. So I think for a lot of my records, I obviously pulled them from real situations, my
Mm.
experiences, things that I lived through, and yeah, it kind of just comes off the top of my head. I'll freestyle a few words and whatnot. And if it sounds cool, then we'll go in and record it. If not, like I'm sure that there's elements of it that do sound good.
Yeah.
I like to do a lot of the voice note recordings.
So you're
And
so you're Jay-Zing it up in there. You walking in there, it's like top of the dome. It's like
like
no
that,
pen, no pad.
like it really, really, really is akin to that. I wish, you guys could see how I work in the studio. But yeah, it is very
Oh,
akin to
that's
that.
amazing. That's when like, there's artists and then there's just artists, but it just like you tap into a different like source and it's what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And like, just recently I started making my own beats, like Bleach. I produced
Wow.
that record. And a lot of the times I get the idea for the record before I even add the drums. Like I'll just add the chords and melodies and all of that. And I'll start like freestyling at that point. And if I feel like it's something that could be really, really good, then I'll be like,
Yeah.
okay, this is something big. I'll add the drums on it and
Wow.
so forth.
That's crazy. Wow. Bleach is it's a vibe. Like even
Thank
the
you.
visuals. Let's talk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm from the background of film. I went to film school, so I shoot a
Nice.
lot of movies and I started out doing music videos. So I did Chris Brown and down to Billy Idol and different people like
Mm.
that. And I'm just curious, visually, how involved were you visually in your process of that? Were you super involved in that?
Yes, yes. The
Nice.
whole thing. I mean, like the video is very symbolic of a lot of things
Yeah.
that I didn't want to just like put just so forefront out there, like you know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of people are doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, the video is kind of a story where the first scene where you see us in the all white and we got the the Breaking Bad vibes, like you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Yes.
even that background, like so. And I love when people tell me this because it was inspired like that scene right there, kind of like the the Missy Elliott, Busta
Yes.
Rhymes, like Mason. Like, did you feel that when you
I
seen it?
did. I totally
Amazing.
did. That is so
Mission complete.
crazy. Literally, I
Yeah,
thought
no.
Missy, and I was like, I'm not gonna say it, but like, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. No, that's amazing. When people tell me that, I just say like, yeah, that means we did a good job because that's exactly what we were trying to convey. That
Pace.
kind of vibe and that feeling. And it's actually a story. It's a story. Like at that scene, I'm kind of, doing my thing, and I
Mhm.
have my, my ex-partner is upset, and I'm still trying to do my thing, and she's calling me, and then, off to the next scene is kind of like where we're just like out of that place and kind of like celebrating our success for the
Yeah.
previous scene. So yeah, I was very hands-on with that.
I love that. And I feel like that's really, and I can tell that, I don't know, I just feel like, there's artists that like that are super involved visually down to the beat. Like it's like another, I don't know. That's what I can tell when I first saw you, when I first laid eyes on you, and I was like, oh yeah, you just got it. Like come to
Yeah.
do you come to, do you try, like come out here to like Atlanta or California? Do you like perform and stuff?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So we actually, me and my two business partners, Soda Money Records, we actually just did a show in Atlanta in February.
Nice.
Right? We had Popstar Benny there, people like Tony Snow, he was the headliner, really, really, really cool cats, and a lot of dope locals from Atlanta. I love Atlanta, by the way.
Yes.
New York is like my second home. Once again, I told you, like I was inspired by people like Nas and Mobb Deep and Wu-Tang Clan, Big L, like, so New York is very big for me. Last year I was in New York for about a month and made a lot of connections there. So I still talk to my friends from New York every single day. Still talk to people from Atlanta. I plan to go back to Atlanta next month, and absolutely.
I love that. No, Atlanta is, you hear that it's like the black, like where
Oh,
everybody goes.
Atlanta, right?
Oh yeah. It's
Oh
like
my
the
goodness.
new Hollywood.
Yeah, 95% of the people I see there were black. It was amazing. I felt at home.
Right, exactly.
Over here in Canada,
Yeah,
it's very multicultural, which is cool
that's
too.
good. Yeah, it's good.
It's very, very, very multicultural. But yeah, going to Atlanta was definitely a different vibe for sure. I loved
Yes.
it there. Yeah.
Speaking about the diversity there and Canada, is it, and I'm curious, is it this, I know here a lot of music like people I know that are in the music world, it's, they have their little, their trials and tribulations that they have to kind of hurdles to get through. But I wonder how is the market out there in Canada versus here, in America, like just
Yeah,
like
go.
music wise, is it hard to get in the music world in Canada, or is it more harder to, like, or is there a difference, or is it the same?
Yeah, no, definitely a difference. I feel like in Canada, like we don't really have the infrastructure for it, right?
Okay.
We have a lot of venues that are going down, not a lot of communities, not a lot of support when it comes to, and we're losing the support too as we
Interesting.
speak. And another thing too is that like we don't have a lot of big stars out here, right? I mean, Drake is like he's the biggest like in the world, the
Right.
boy,
Yeah.
right? But it's kind of like, like that's kind of about it. Like for example, like when I went to New York, I was only supposed to stay there for 5 days. And on the
Hmm.
fourth day, and I did a performance out there. And on the fourth day, I met Alchemist, one of the greatest producers ever, right? And he and Prodigy of Mobb Deep inspired me. So that was extremely
Nice.
huge. That's why I was like, you know what, I'm turning this 5 day trip into a month,
Yeah.
right? So, and within the same day, I seen DJ Drama. The week after, I seen Dave East in Harlem.
Wow.
So,
Nice. Nice.
going to America for the first time, and I was just like, wow, like these guys just be out here like that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it could be so easy to like if I had merch and like a USB with music, I easily could have given it to one of any of these people and been like, yo, check me out and da da da
Yeah.
da. And if they really liked it, then something could have happened. So in Canada, there is no opportunity for that to ever happen. You know what I mean? So
Interesting. Very
yeah.
interesting.
And I
Hmm.
feel like a lot of Canadian labels too, just when it comes to hip hop, they don't really know like what's going on.
That's so wild, though. I think about 21 Savage is also Canadian. I didn't know that, and I think someone else is too. Or maybe that's oh God, the guy that had that scandal with Megan Thee Stallion,
Tory
Tory
Lanez.
Lanez.
Yeah, free my boy Tory Lanez, man. Lack of evidence. Lack of evidence. Free my man Tory Lanez. Yeah, he's Canadian for sure.
Oh man. Yeah, it's yeah, it's something that I find very like an interesting conversation, and something that actually when I talk to people in the music world, like,
Hmm.
do you feel like
Hmm.
it's better to I mean, mainstream is great, because you get the listeners, you get all the publicity and the plugs. Do you feel like you have
Sure.
more creative freedom independently?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, independently, like it's kind of like your vision, right? And you don't really have to skew it for anybody, right? Now
Right.
you may if you want to. Like for example, like so for example, like I know a lot of, real OGs in the game in the Canadian Toronto scene, but they're not too privy to all of this like internet stuff, the content
Yeah.
creation, the TikTok things, and even just going out and doing interviews and networking, like, what I mean? It's very different.
Yeah.
So as an independent artist and a label, like if you could find a way without doing those kind of things, then you could do it and nobody's going to really breathe down your neck, right? Yeah, you can say certain things, you can do certain things. So yeah, definitely a lot of a lot of freedom for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I find it. I mean, for me, with this whole, I don't know if you've been, I don't know if it's something you heard about, but the SAG-AFTRA kind of thing that's happening, the little strike that's going on. I'm not really into it because I'm not,
Wait, in the film?
yeah, in the film industry, like it's been going
Yeah, of course.
around.
I actually, I actually work in the film industry on the
Oh,
side.
oh, do tell.
I do a little bit of locations work. So
Oh,
I definitely, yeah, I definitely can relate to this strike. It's been going on for a while.
oh, I mean, I just I find it very interesting that everything is all these things are happening, but these movements of, yes, I think it's great, but I feel like at the end of the
Hmm.
day, we have to, as artists, if we want to change something, yeah, we have to be the change. And I feel like that I don't know how we do that, whether that's whatever that is, whether it's musically putting out something, a message, or visually putting it out.
Hmm.
The corporations are there for a reason, right? And
Hmm.
it's been there for years. So it's like I
Correct.
think starting your own is the thing, which is what Tyler Perry did essentially.
Yeah,
And
that's a great point for sure.
I don't know. I don't know, music wise, like I think anybody, and I mean, like for I'm gonna use you because literally, like you are so like you're so good. When I first heard it, I was like, wow, like I mean, blown away just by
Yeah.
I mean the just how you do it, and the cadence, and just the way your charisma, your attitude. It's you have the whole thing, of course.
Thank you.
And but this business is so like they want this. If you
Yeah,
don't check all these boxes, you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
so
yeah,
hard to
yeah.
transcend over to the other side.
Yeah,
What I
yeah, 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 yeah. No, exactly. And I think like even right now, like I'm really feeling that more than ever, because I'm getting pressed about doing TikTok like all the time, right? And I keep trying to tell people like being a recording artist and being a content creator are two different things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then add like, being a business owner on top of it. It's just like it's a lot. It's a lot. So yeah, I think yeah, independently, and that's always been my thing. Like I like even as when I was younger, I've always been a trendsetter.
Yeah.
I've always been the one to inspire my other fellow artists, and I love giving them advice on how to think outside the box. You don't have to do
Yes.
you don't have to do everything that everyone's doing. You know what I always like to bring up like uniqueness. These artists, there's a Canadian artist. You guys might know of him by the name of Pressa, right?
Mm.
His voice. very, very, very unique. You know, artists like West Side Gun, you know, Playboy Cardi with the baby voice. You know,
Yeah.
the one thing that they all have in common is the uniqueness in their voice,
Hmm.
and that's why their music doesn't sound like any others, right? And you're not going to hear anybody else who sounds like West Side Gun, but he's still skyrocketed out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's huge. Playboy Cardi, like, you know, he set that baby voice trend, and now everybody wants to do it, right? I'm sure the
Right.
label, I'm sure the label wasn't too fond of it, or you know, whatever label he was signed to, they probably didn't want to co-sign it, but it just became so big that they couldn't ignore it, right?
Couldn't ignore
So
it. Exactly.
yeah, I think if you're great at something, regardless if it's like the in or the now or the later or whatever, you definitely should move with your best foot forward, 100%.
1,000. Absolutely.
Yeah.
1,000%. So this is a fun little question I like to ask of guests. And
All
if
right.
you could perform with anybody, whether living or
Mm-hmm.
dead, who would you who would you perform with and why?
Who would I perform with and why? It would probably have to. It's just one. I could just pick one.
I mean, if you want to, I'll give you two.
I think. I think right off the bat would have to be either Kanye West or Michael Jackson.
Oh my God. I love that answer because all my friends know I love Kanye, and Michael
Yes.
Jackson is someone I would love to see, like have seen in person.
Yeah. Yeah. No. We definitely would get along. Then. I love
Got you.
Ye.
I love it.
You
Me
know,
too.
I love Ye. He's a creative genius. You know, a lot of
Oh
people
yeah.
don't understand that he's changed the sound of music multiple times,
Oh yeah.
right? With the, you know, the one-on-one battle he had with 50 Cent, right? With graduation, and you
Yeah.
know, and when once Kanye beat him in the album sales, look, gangster rap music kind of declined, right? And
Right.
everybody, you know what I'm saying, right? And then once again, like with 808s and Heartbreaks, like I would
Yeah.
like to argue that Drake was very, very inspired by that album, right? His
Hmm.
Drake's early 2009 and 2010 music is very, very akin to that. So, um, yeah, that's why I like, and I mean, look at his performances, his stage sets. Like
It's insane.
Kanye he's insane, and he's definitely one of those people who thinks outside of the box, and he gets it. And Michael Jackson, the exact same way. I mean, like he's one of the greatest performers of all time, right?
All
So
time.
yeah, so yeah, definitely those two for sure.
Yeah, and hey, you got it. You have it yourself. And you know what? I'm excited just to watch. I'm like, you know what? I interviewed him back when.
Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be a thing, by the way. You know,
Oh
that's
yeah.
definitely gonna be a thing. We coming for sure. I'm coming.
Oh yeah. I can already sense it. I can definitely sense it. I like to ask this question too. The three levels of influence, money, power, or respect. And what would you choose and why? Three
Absolutely,
levels of
like
influence, right?
mhm.
And if you could possess one of those things, which one would you choose and why?
Money, power, respect. It would have to be respect for sure. The reason for that would be, you know, I think I think that I'm a pretty, you know, open-minded person. I don't disrespect anybody. I'm somebody who, you know, can look at all perspectives before I make my judgment. And I think that more people should be like that. And I feel like that's very respectable. You know,
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys that can admit when I make a mistake, you know, and I, I'm not going to let a loss go to my heart, or, you know, a win go to my head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I see other people who are like that, I respect them a lot. And when I see people who move like that, I go up and beyond to make, you know, things easier for a person like that who has those kind of traits. So yeah, I would definitely choose respect. Absolutely.
That's a great answer. Great answer. Um, what do you want people when you I mean, as an artist, when someone listens to your music or your body of work, what do you want them to walk away with? What do you want them to feel? Like, what's your intent? Like, what is it that your goal in music?
I think promoting that open-mindedness is it has always been something big for me, you know. I remember T.I. said it in one kind of interview. I don't know exactly what he said, so I'm not gonna quote him verbatim, but you know, there are people that could be so many different things. You know, I think in music, um, you know, like two two opposites can still be right. Like right, two things can still be true. So for example, I'll use Future for example. I think a lot of people look at him as somebody who like, you know, is misogynistic and like somebody who, you know, and I guess that's kind of what he promotes in his music a little bit.
A
But
little bit.
yeah, right. But that also doesn't mean that he's a loving person, a caring person to women as well, right? So
Right.
and I often think that people misinterpret uh you know, people by their looks, you know, their gender or their sexuality. And
Yes.
I definitely am a person that's kind of just like I'm everything, like, you know what I mean, I'm a lot of different things.
Love that.
So yeah, I wouldn't want people to put me in a box. That's what I want people to, because I listen to different kinds of music. I make different kinds of music. I enjoy different kind of hobbies, right? That might not, like, you wouldn't expect, oh, look at how he looks. I can't believe he's listening to this. Like, I would like people to, you know what I mean? Like, people
Gotcha.
are very surprised when I tell them, like, I like heavy metal, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, totes.
They never, yeah, they never believe that. So yeah,
Because of the
that's
music that you choose to do, like they're like,
exactly,
oh, you don't listen to
exactly.
anything else, which is, yeah, it's terrible.
Exactly. Or maybe because of the way I dress or, you know, how my upbringing was. So
That's the thing that kind of bugs me is that just because I dress a certain way doesn't mean that everybody who dresses this way, or
yeah, yeah,
this is
yeah.
what hip hop is.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
what?
Yeah. Yeah. They kind of just have you know, like a skin for, you know, yeah, it's just putting people in a box, man. You know, and
Yeah.
I like to think outside of the box. So I don't want people to put me in a box. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I
Yeah.
like what you're doing because I did see your body of work. Even visually, everything's so different. There's some songs that are very about relationships and
Hmm.
you're very vulnerable. And I think in our
Hmm.
community, Pacific Black men are not so
Yeah.
vocal,
Hmm.
in music about relationships. So
Hmm.
I commend you for talking about that and being vulnerable.
Thank you. And you know, I feel like so like I was saying earlier, like I'm kind of somebody who can draw inspiration from like a real life situation and just kind of freestyle about it and put it in a song. And
Yeah.
often I say stuff that people can relate to, but they wouldn't say,
Hmm.
right? So I feel like a lot of people really like my music for that as well too, especially men. Yeah, and women too. You know.
Oh yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
You have a great voice. You have a great voice. I was like, look at him
Thank you.
singing. I was like, okay.
Thank you. I've actually been told that, like, yeah, I've been hearing that ever since I was in high school, you know, like
Oh,
your
nice.
voice, something about your voice is like, you know, you got that rapper's voice. And then when I start singing, like, you know, some women are like, oh my goodness, you actually got a good voice, right? So
Yeah, it's like, oh my
yeah.
God. I didn't expect that when I saw some of your videos. I was like, whoa,
Right, right. Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. No, thank
awesome.
you.
Awesome. What like, in your journey, what's something that's stuck with you, whether it's someone who advice that you've gotten that has gotten you through really tough times and and it sticks with you to this day. What advice was that? Like the best advice if you have like that gets you through those tough times in life.
Hmm.
I think we all have
That's a
them.
yeah, I don't know if it's just I like too much great advice I've been given by so many so many different great people.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think yeah, I don't know. That's actually that's something that I might have to actually come back on.
Okay. I mean, hey, next time. I mean, yeah, I I always say that because, being an artist or creative, it is, you have to reinvent yourself in a way, every time you're putting something out.
Yeah, you
It's
know
like,
why also that might be a little bit too hard for me because I'm
yeah.
usually the one giving the advice. To be
Ah,
real, to be
that's
real. Yeah, when
wow.
I think about it, yeah. I've
Wow.
been at this music for a little bit, not even just the creation of it, but just really studying like how how the game works, and reading books on how to, win friends over. This is a very popular book that, I'm sure a lot of people have heard about.
Hmm.
Um, I look at once again, Kanye is just such a genius that I try to, like I said, once again, just think outside of the box, right? So I'm always reminding people of those little things and letting people know how important like relationships are in this industry, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
1000.
I'm usually the one giving the advice. Let's just say
I
that.
I love it. Okay, what advice would you give to someone who wants to get into this business? I mean, to of music. What does that
I
look
would
like?
say, learn as much as you can personally. You don't want to put your career in the hands of somebody else
Hmm.
and not know like what's really, really going on. The more you learn yourself, the better you can improve your vision. Make sure that your vision is being sought out exactly like how you want it to be,
Hmm.
right? There's less waiting on other people,
Yeah.
right? Because there's less you getting taken advantage of,
Hmm.
right? So one of the things I did very early on because I knew that marketing is like the most important part of this
Of
because
course.
people got to remember they're a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not just music. Like if you're doing this for more than just a hobby, then marketing is extremely important. So that was one thing that I decided to study upon for many, many, many years, right? And yeah, I would definitely say, yeah, learn as much as you can and don't give up. A lot of people. I'm in a group chat the other day where someone's like, "Oh, I don't know if my music's just if it's just garbage." It's like, brother, your music doesn't suck. Like you just need something tangible to attach it to. 'Cause it
Yeah.
can't be just the music. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's many artists that I fell in love with, and it had nothing to. I fell in love with the artist before I even heard their music. Right? Maybe I seen an
Oh.
interview.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I seen an interview, and I really agreed with their way of thinking, or just stuff like that. Maybe they have really cool merchandise, and then after I bought some merchandise, I ended up listening to their music, like, right. So having
Nice.
something tangible, definitely important. That's a piece of advice I'd give. And yeah, like I said, just try to learn as much as you can on your own, so you're not depending on other people or waiting on an answer or anything.
I love that. That's
Yeah,
so good. So good.
absolutely.
Where can people find you on social media to follow the journey of, what you're doing? I like it.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I be trying to keep up with all the social media. Like, it just seems like there's a new app every other day,
I
right?
know
Like
I can't keep up
Threads.
either. I
What
don't know.
is
I'm not on
this?
that yet. I'm not on that.
I jumped on it and it seemed like it has died like within a week, right? So it's like, but it's because there's just so much. Like, I gotta
Yeah.
like when I drop music, right? Like, I have to post the same content on like 9 different
I
accounts.
know it's
You
a
know, if
lot.
that in itself is time consuming. Like I'm not, so but yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram mainly.
Okay.
Both of them are gonna be Soda Money dot Yitty, Yitty. So
Yes.
Yitty, that's slang for, York. That's a New York thing.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm from East York of Toronto.
Love it.
So, like I was saying, Prodigy inspired me. The song New Yitty, I just brought that over here. This is
That's
East
right.
Yitty. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, sodamoney.yitty on Instagram, sodamoney underscore Yitty on Twitter. And it's either one of those variations on any other platform.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on and blessing us with just I love it. I really today I had a few interviews. Yours is by far my favorite today. So thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for your
I've
time.
also and I've also had a few interviews, and this 100% was my favorite one. I think this is like my fourth in the last 2 weeks. But yeah,
Ooh,
this is my
thank
favorite.
thank you. I'll take it. I'll
Honestly,
take that.
honestly,
Thank
honestly,
you
honestly.
so much. And kudos to you with everything you're doing. God bless you. I can't wait whenever you're back out in Atlanta. I love to come to the show. For
Absolutely.
sure.
You're on guest list already. Don't worry.
All right. Woohoo.
Hmm. It'll be a big one too. So
I'm excited. I'm excited. Well, thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time.